All right then, so now we are going to discuss about the conditional statements. So let me clean up the code over here, delete everything. So I'm gonna create the comments, and here on the conditional statements, so the statements which we are talking about is if, else, if else, and if else if, and else. These are the things, right? So basically conditional statements in C, so that includes the if else if and else, are used to make the decisions in a program based on a certain condition. So let's understand them more in a much brief with certain examples. So let's talk about the if statement first. So if statement. So when it comes to if statement, you need to understand the syntax first. So if, open it, you need to supply your condition, your logical condition. If that condition states true, then your true statement will get executed, right? If that condition states false, then we need to move on to the else. But the thing is, if condition will check only for the true statement, not for the false statement. So let's talk about the if statement. Like basically it's used to execute a block of code only if that specified condition is true. So let's take an example over here to figure it out whether a given number is positive, right? We just need to make sure the given number is positive. So hash include stdio.h, and I'm going to say int main, open the function, and I'm going to define a number. This is going to be a dynamic variable, and I need to read the number from the user. Printf /n, enter the value for num. All right, so semicolon, then let's use the scanf to read that number, %d, comma, store it in address of the variable. Now I do have that number. Now I need to make sure that number is greater than 0 or not, right? So how to make sure, how to check that logical things? So before jumping into much deeper, so we need to have some idea on the operators, right? We need to have some idea on the operators, like basically what is operators and how to use them and all those things. So that's what we are going to discuss now. Okay, so basically operators in C programming language, it supports a wide variety of operators that allows you to perform the operations on the variables which and the values, right? So let's talk about the types of the operators that we do have. So basically when it comes to operators, operators are nothing but they are these special symbols which helps you to support to perform some logical and mathematical calculations. So in that situation we have the first type as the arithmetic operators, logical or relational operators, and last we do have this bitwise operators, right? So basically we all know that the arithmetic operators are nothing but the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulus, right? So the operators are the plus, minus, star, slash, percentage. So addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulus, right? On the other hand, the relational operators or the logical operators, we need to understand it quite which is the most important thing that you need to understand. So we all know that this is an equal sign, but in the programming language we used to say it's an assignment operator, and we all know that this is the lesser than, right, which is exactly the same, the lesser than. Okay, so let's say lesser than, then this is greater than, and this is double equals to, which is we used to say this as the double equals to is going to be the equivalent operator, and this one it's not equals to, not equal to, and this is lesser than or equal to. This is greater than or equal to. All right, so this is the relational operators. And now let's take it to the another level, which is your logical operators, which means the gate systems which we used to learn it in the physics. Like you can say the logical and the bitwise are like something like that, right? So we do have the different logical operators. Let's say if you use this double ampersand symbol, which is logical and if you are using this pipe symbol 2 times, that is the logical or, and if you are using this exclamatory symbol, that is the logical not. All right, so we will understand, we'll use all these things, different operators and different things later on after another. And now let's talk about the bitwise operators. So quite bitwise operators will we use it mostly in the data structures and algorithms. So this is the bitwise and this is bitwise r, and this is power up, you can say bitwise xr, and this is the bitwise not, right? So this is bitwise and bitwise r, this is xr, and this is not, right? So these are the bitwise operators. So and finally we do have one more thing, that is the ternary operator, so which is quite resourceful, which exactly basically the ternary operator is the shortened way to write the if else condition, right? So you don't need to use an if else statement, you can simply use the ternary operator. So like this, colon question mark. So you need to write your condition here. If that condition is true, you need to write your true statement here. If the condition is false, you need to write your false statement here. This is the ternary operator. Ternary operator. Right? So the basic syntax, it's going to be condition, question mark, true statement, colon, false statement. This is how we need to write use the ternary operator. So now let's see all those things with one by one example. So let's try to understand how the if statement is working. So let's scroll down over here. So my condition is going to be if the number is greater than 0, then of course it's going to be true. If it is true, then I need to print the value as %d, that number is positive. I need to print that number, the given number is positive. And at last I need to return the state, I need to return any number. So now if I run this program, I'm going to give 30 and it's showing 30 is positive. You can see it's giving the output as 30 is positive. So positive. But if I give any negative number, think about it. See, it's not returning anything because the given number is negative, because we haven't written anything for the false statement. So that's the place we have to worry, or we have to take the else part will takes up. So else, and I'm going to say if the number is negative, then I just need to say number is negative, something like that. Then if I run this program, and now if I supply any negative number, you can see that the given number is negative, right? So the negative statement will take part and it will execute that the false statement condition over there. All right, so now let's try to make it more elaborate. So I need to figure it out. I need to check the conditions for the positive and for the negative number. So then if both are not, then I need to return the value as 0, which means I'm going to check 2 different conditions. So right now over here is checking 1 condition. So think about it that you have to check more than 1 condition over here. So is that the situation? So what we can do is, so we can write a multiple if statement just by using the else if, right? All right, so now I need to check 1 more condition over here. So what can I do is, I'm going to break this over here. Then I can add 1 more condition like else if. I can check if the number is less than 0. Then I can say printf the number is negative. Else I can leave it as the number is equals to 0. Number is 0, right? So save the changes. So basically what we are trying to do is we are trying to check a condition if the number is greater than 0 or not. If it is true, this statement will be executed, or else this condition will be verified and this statement will be executed. If none of these conditions are satisfied, then the else part will automatically execute it, right? So that's how this if and if else will work. So basically it's a top to bottom order. It doesn't matter how many conditions you written inside this if and else. In between the if and else, it doesn't matter how many conditions you written. It always will execute in top to bottom order, which means in a sequential way. It doesn't jump one to two. It doesn't skip any conditions in between, and it will never execute any conditions randomly. It will always execute from top to bottom order, right? So now if I run this, we can see if I give 20, it will give 20 as a positive. If I rerun it again, if I give a negative number, it will give 20 is negative. And now if I give a 0, it will okay, so I forgot to print the value number, save these changes, and now if I supply the 0, you can see 0 is 0, right? So this is how you need to check more than one conditions over here. It's just a simple example to understand how the if and if else if and else statements will work. All right, so now let's take it to the next level. So let's write a simple program to figure it out whether the given number is an even or not an even number, right? So I'm going to delete this condition over here. So we already read a number from the user. So basically how to figure it out whether it is an even number or not. So basically an even number, when you're trying to divide a number with 2 and its remainder should equals to 0. If it is say so, then it's an even number. If it is not, it's not an even number. So I'm going to try to divide a number. So usually we use this symbol to get the do the normal division, but it will never returns the remainder. It will always returns the quotient. So we don't need the quotient, we need the remainder. So that's the reason we use this modulus symbol, the percentage sign. So I'm trying to divide the number by 2 and its remainder should equals to 0. If it is say so, then print the given number is an even number. Else the given number, it's not an even number, is not an even number, right? Save the changes, and now if I rerun it, so if I give 4, you can see 4 is an even number, and if I supply 5, we can see 5 is not an even number. We know that 5 is not an even number because when you try to divide that 5 by 2, you will never get the remainder as 0, you will get the remainder as 1. So that's the reason it's showing as the not an even number, right? So this is how you can use the if else statement with the real-time examples. So let's try to do it by using the ternary operator, right? Since I already explained you, the ternary operator is the shorthand way to write the if else statement. So how to achieve the same thing by using the ternary operator? So as I said, you need to supply the condition. What is our condition? This is our condition. So I'm going to copy this condition and question mark. If that condition is true, I need to print this statement, colon. If that condition is false, I need to write this statement, right? And at the end, semicolon. All right. Now I hope you can see the complete condition over here. So I'm just going to comment this line. So let's check it out. If I give 4, you can see 4 is an even number. If I give 5, I will get 5 is not an even number. See, this is the beauty of the ternary operator. So instead of using 4 different lines by using the if and else statement to get the same output, we can write it in a single line by using the ternary operator to get that same exact output. That's the beauty of the ternary operator, right? So let's think how to keep a nested if, like a condition inside a condition, like an authentication. If you check any authentication, the user should validate their email and their password to get authenticated, right? That's a simple example to to understand the nested if condition. So basically what we are trying to do here is we are just going to check a condition. If the condition is true, and inside that I'm going to check one more condition. So let's talk about that example. So first I need to make sure a given number is positive. If the given number is positive, and it should not have the remainder as 0, which means I need to figure it out. The given number, it's positive, and the given number, it should be an odd number, right? That's the logic that we are trying to do here. So I'm just going to delete this. I'm trying to figure it out whether the given number is positive and an odd number. It should be an odd number. So to do that, first I need to check the number should be greater than 0. Then I need to check one more if condition. If, open it, the number modulus of 2 should not equals to 0. If it is say so, then printf number is positive and an odd number, something like this. Save the changes. Now if I supply 20, you can see it doesn't print anything because 20 is an even number. So if I supply 21, you can see number is positive and an odd number. So this is how the condition will work. So the number will compare with this condition, and if that is true, it will check this condition. If this is also true, this statement will get executed, right? So this is how you need to use the conditional statements in a different possibilities, and how to use it in a more efficient way with the real-time examples and all those things, right? I hope you understand how to use the ternary operators in a more efficient way. So let's move on to the next thing, which is our switch statement. How to use the switch statement to execute it as a random way to trigger the multiple conditions and everything, right? So without wasting your time further, let's jump into that concept in the next chapter. All right then, so now let's understand how to work with the switch statement. So let me clean up all this code. Okay, so basically the switch statement in C is used to make decision based on the value of an expression. It provides a way to execute different block of codes depending on the value of the expressions. So let's understand the syntax first. All right, so here is the syntax. So first you need to use the switch keyword, then you need to supply your expression, open and close the curly brackets, right? Now we need to supply the case constant 1. If that case constant 1, which means constant 1 in the sense that the value 1, like, so the code here at this point, that the code to be executed if the expression matches that constant 1. So here is the code. You need to supply the code which needs to be executed if the matches the constant 1. Then you need to break it, right? So you need to use the break keyword to break that case, otherwise it will jump to the next case and it will execute that case 2 also. Then you need to execute the constant 2, supply the code and break it. And just like the same way, you can add n number of cases in between it. You have to check each and every constants. That's it. If the expression's value matches the constant, then it will execute. At last you need to keep your default statement also. If none of the cases are matched, then it will automatically execute the default statement, then it will breaks it. The break statement is the most important thing. If you forget to break it, it will jump to the next constant instantly. So basically the break statements is used to exit the switch block. Once the match is found, we need to exit, right? So that's the reason we are using the we are using that break statement. So think about it, if you miss the break, that means if break statement is omitted, the control will fall through the next case. That's the thing, right? So this is the syntax. So let's try an example how to use this in a real way, right? So think about it, that you're having that you're trying to using the switch cases to determine the day of the week based on the user entered number. Based on the given number, we need to figure it out what day it's in that week, right? So what we are trying to do, we are writing a program to determine the day of the week, right? So Now hash include stdio.h int main at last return 0. Then we need to read a number, so let's say int day. Then printf, let's say enter the number in between 1 to 7 representing the day of the week, representing the day of the week. So please be elaborate in your attractive statement, because that makes sense, like what kind of input that the user need to supply. Then using the scanf percentage d comma ampersand day, right? This is how we used to collect the number and store it in the variable. Then I need to open up the switch statement and I need to supply the input which is given by the user. So switch, open it and supply the day inside, then open it. Then if the case value is equals to 1, which means if the user enters the 1, then we need to say printf /n. We need to say Monday, and at the end we are going to add /n, semicolon, and at last we need to say break it. So I'm going to copy this. Case 2, if it is case 2, then this is supposed to be Tuesday, and if it is case 3, that means the day 3, this is supposed to be Wednesday, and if it is case 4, this is going to be Thursday, and if it is case 5, this is supposed to be Friday. If it is case 6, this is supposed to be Saturday, and if it is supposed to be 7, then it is going to be Sunday. So, and we given the days of the week from 1 to 7, everything. So what happens? What should be the default value? If none of the cases are matched, then in the default section, I'm just going to say printf /n invalid input, please enter a number between 1 and 7, right? Save the changes. This is how it's going to be looks like, and at last break statement, that should be must, right? So returns 0 and everything. So we successfully finished the program. Save the changes. Now let me run it. There we go. So now it's asking enter the number 1 to 7 representing the day of the week. So if I give 5, you can see it's giving the day as Friday. So this is how the switch statement will evaluate. So basically the switch statement is expecting you to give a value, and based on that value of that expressions, it's executing that code, right? So this is all about the switch case. So now let's see how to run two different programs in the same program, like addition and subtraction, divisions, like displaying a different sets of menu options, and so the user can choose what kind of menu that he wish to use. All right, so let's see how to do that. All right, so I'm going to delete this, delete it, and I'm just going to say in choice. So, and the printf statement, I'm going to say some, let's say option number 1, which is the addition and /n, and option number 2, which is going to be subtraction /n, and select your choice. So user have to select his choice, so which option that he wish to do. So here I'm going to read the choice, %d, ampersand ch, semicolon. Then we need to define int a also, okay, int a comma b comma c, and we don't need the C because I don't need to store that value. Then I'm going to open the switch case, switch, open it, supply the choice inside, open it, and here you have to open the case 1. If the case is equals to 1, which means the user selected the option number 1, then we need to perform the addition. So printf addition of two numbers, semicolon. So here I need to read those two different values. Printf /n, enter the value of a and b. So scanf %d space %d comma ampersand a comma ampersand b. Then I need to return the results. So printf, open it, answer colon %d plus %d a plus b equals to the a plus b result, comma a comma b comma a plus b. Right? So then I need to break the statement. So let's copy this and let's paste it one more time. If that case is equals to 2, then that is going to be subtraction of two numbers. Enter the value of a and b. We read the value minus, and we need to display the minus result over here. And at last, default printf invalid option, please choose the available option, colon, semicolon, and break the statement, save the changes, and let's rerun this program now. We got an error. What is that? Okay, so it's not showing view. Where is the console? Okay, so I need to close this. I can't see the output. I think I closed that. Settings, editor. Give me a minute. View. Here, where is the, let's rerun this program. Yep. So break. Okay, my bad. Spelling mistake. And here also spelling mistake. Save the changes. Let's rerun it one more time. And now it's showing addition and subtraction. Select your choice. In this case, I'm going to choose the addition, and it's asking me to give two different numbers, 5, 5, and it gives me the answer as 5 plus 5 is equals to 10. So this is how you need to use the switch case. So this is some kind of example that makes you to understand how efficient that the switch statements are and how to use the switch statements in easiest way. So what is the purpose of break and what is the purpose of the cases and default and everything. So this helps you to understand each and every single layer in a better way. So later we're going to use the switch statement in more elaborately in some kind of real-time examples when we are working with the different complex problems and everything. Right, just to understand the syntax, the fundamentals of the switch statement, I think this example is more than enough, right? So I hope you understand how the switch case is working and everything. So let's, without wasting your time further, let's jump into the next chapter.